Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and in today's video we are going to be breaking down UFC Fight Night Kape vs Horiguchi. And this is a nice little card to come back to after what we just experienced with UFC White House. So let's get right back into it. Yeah, it's pretty good for an Apex card, I'll be honest. Let's get first fight of the night. We have Shane Collins versus Otari Tanzilavi. I'm going to be picking Shane Collins. What are the odds? He's a favorite. Okay, nice. That's interesting. Yeah, Shane Collins, 7-0. From what I could tell, like they're all kind of like they're all knockouts basically. I haven't seen either of these guys fight. Just to clarify, so take everything I say with a grain of salt. But Atari Tanzilavi, he's 10-1. And his one loss is basically what I'm doing this prediction off of because he lost to Juzeus Musasa. And we've learned that Juzeus Musasa is not that good. Came into the UFC, lost to that something Vera, that jiu-jitsu guy who ended up throwing that cross and then that offbeat head kick that dropped him. Ended up getting a rear naked. And then he lost to Colby Thickness. And that's not a great loss to have, man. Not a great loss. And this Otari Tanzilavi guy lost to that guy. So Shane Collins, I think Shane Collins will get a knockout. And yeah, and then let's move on. I don't really know these guys, so I'm just gonna be picking the guy who's most likely to win. We move on to Carl Rosa versus Luana Santos. I'm gonna go with Luana Santos for this one. It's a women's fight, that has to be said. And so you never really know. It's kind of a coin flip. Now, in that being said, I like to pick in specifically women's fights the more reliable woman. And Luana Santos has been pretty reliable. She had an early loss, which came to the UFC. She lost by decision. But since then, she's been doing pretty good. She's at least on a 2-fight win streak right now. And one of them was by submission, one of them by decision. But she's doing the same thing every time. And that decision win, now that I'm remembering, that's against that Canadian girl who ended up being pretty good. What's her name? Her name, it's something Cohen, or something like that, no? What is her name? She just beat her. And what's her name? Melissa Croden. There we go. So she just beat Melissa Croden, who after that got a TKO win, from what I remember, or won by decision. But yeah, so that was a pretty good win, and I think she finally learned how to use her judo in MMA correctly, and that's who she's a judo girl. She's not gonna outstrike Carol Rosa, but I think she'll be able to take it to the ground, and she should win this one. Oh, it's a pick'em? Okay, that makes sense. Carl Rosa's pretty good though, right? She's 19-7. Both of these, they're pretty good records for women fighters because you're used to 10-5 records, 10-5, 13-6, 13-7, something like that. So 19-7 is not bad. She's looked good in some of her fights, but I wouldn't say she's consistent. And I think Luana Santos right now, and the UFC's pushing her. So if there is a 29-28 decision, we know which one of these two females it's going to go to. I'm not going to say which one, but we know which one it's going to be. And so you always pick pretty. Next, we go on to Leon Shabazian versus Levan Chekoli. I don't know either of these guys at all. I've never seen either of them fight. And it wasn't even on the UFC, not this website, but it wasn't on Tapology. It wasn't on the, when you just look UFC on your phone and it gives you all the fights. This wasn't even there. So I don't know what to do with this. I'm going to pick this Levan Chekoli guy because he's a big favorite. And okay, so let's talk about the records. I think Evan Chekoli is 14-3, and Leon Shabazian is 13-4, something like that. So I'm just gonna pick the guy with the better record, shamelessly. I'm going to do it, and I'm probably gonna be right. So screw you. And they're both crazy finishers. So this fight's gonna end in one round. And I think it's gonna be by Levan Chekoli getting a knockout. But I have no idea who he is. I don't even know what he looks like. If you show me a picture of him right now, I have no idea what Levan Chekoli looks like. This is what Apex cards are like this sometimes. Anyway, let's move on to Gaston Bolaños versus Michael Aswell Jr. Ilya Aptudo, Toptudo. Ilya's back. He's back. It's been his face is all healed up. I guess Justin didn't do that much damage, and he's fighting Michael. I know as well about you as well. So 2 McGregor victims over here. And I'm going to pick Michael as well because Gaston Bolaños is not good. The only real thing that we know about him is that he looks like Ilya Apturo Topturo. And the other thing is that he got TKO'd by Marcus McGee. And that's the only real things. Other than that, he lost to that Chinese guy too. Quang Lee, I think his name was. And yeah, he has maybe a win, 2 wins in the UFC, but he's not that good. And Michael Aswell Jr., he looked pretty good against Luke Riley in that co-main event in London. Luke Riley won, but Luke Riley's undefeated, and Luke Riley that was a nice back and forth fight where ultimately he lost, Michael Aswell Jr. lost. But he didn't look out of it at any point, and I like his boxing. The fight before that, he got a knockout, and he's not bad. He's had a tough run in the UFC, but I think he'll have a nice little win over here, probably by knockout. Yeah, I'll say round 2 or 3 knockout by Michael Aswell Jr. Maybe he wins by decision, but I'm picking him. Let's move on to Alan Nascimento. Whoa, Alan Nascimento versus Mitch Raposo. I'm gonna go with Alan Nascimento, and this fight, whoever wins this should be ranked. I think Alan Nascimento might already be ranked, but if not, he should be. He's on a 4-fight win streak right now, I think. And he's beat some good guys. Let me just read you his record real quick, because he's on a nice slow streak, and I think he'll make a little run in general in the UFC. So where is he at? Blah 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 blah. Mitch Raposo, Alan Nascimento. Okay, here we go. So Alan Nascimento, he just beat Cody Durden by submission. That was a nice one because he hit him with like a spinning. He was getting pieced up in the fight a little bit, it has to be said. But he hit him with that spinning elbow, followed down, got him with the anaconda. Before that fought Jafel Filho, beat him by decision. And I know that win's not aging well, but Jafel Filho is pretty good. So regardless, that's a good win. Before that beat Carlos Hernandez. Before that beat Jake Hadley. Before that, he did lose to Tagir Lembekov. But Tagir Lembekov, on a debut, is no joke. I know we're about to, in the main event, we're going to be talking about Tagir Lembekov's papa. But regardless, he's pretty good, and so that being your only loss to the UFC, I don't fault you for that, especially not on a debut. So I think Alan Nascimento should win this one. He is kind of another rising, I won't say star, because nobody really knows who he is, but I know who he is, and he's pretty good, and he'll be ranked, and he might even break into the top 10 at some point. He's good. He's well rounded, and he knows to go through adversity, and I feel like I didn't really talk about Mitch Raposo. But he's pretty good too. He just beat that Kazakhstani guy, who's the Azat Maxim, I think his name was, who was also cheating a lot during that fight. But I think that this is like another level. Like we're taught, like Alan Nascimento is ranked material, and so I would say it'll be easy. Just look at the records, even 22-6 versus 10-3. I don't. You're not supposed to make too much of a record. But look at how much experience Alan Nascimento has. He should win this one, either by decision or by submission. Yeah, I'm picking Alan Nascimento. And we move on to Bia Mesquita versus Melissa Mullins. I know I said that with women fights it's always like a 50-50, but this is like a free square on the board. You know, you just cross this one off. Bia Mesquita is gonna demolish Melissa Mullins. You can't really be too confident anymore. After what we just witnessed this weekend with Ilya Taporia and Justin Gaethje, you don't really know anymore. So Melissa Mullins might just like bite down on her mouth guard and stuff all the takedowns all of a sudden and just beat up Bia Mesquita. But she won't actually though, because Bia Mesquita is 6-0. Never really seen adversity, at least not in the UFC. I didn't watch her first couple fights, but from what I've seen of her, she's just like demolishing people. She's kind of Hamzat Chimaeving people, ragdolling them to the ground with ease. In her last fight, she even stung the person who she fought, whoever that female was. I do not remember, but whoever it was, she hurt her badly on the feet first, then took her down and then beat her up on the ground. And she has great ground and pound, like heavy shots. And last thing, it has to be said, she's on steroids. And her whole team is. It's her, Kayla Harrison, and there's one more Australian girl who just beat Mayra Bueno Silva. I don't remember her name, but all three of them are like gigantic for 135. I have no idea how they make the weight. They're probably walking around 170. Like they're pretty. She's 5'6", and she makes 135. And look at these arms. This is man arms. Just look at this, and then look at this. And then tell me who's gonna win. This is a female, and this is a gigantic female. And honestly, I think she's you're witnessing a run. Like she's gonna be making it to the top 5 of the bantamweight division of the females very soon. And she should run through her round 1 TKO, ground and pound, or submission. I'll say submission to be safe. We move on to Andre Lima versus Kevin Borjas. This is interesting. I'm going to be picking Andre Lima, but Kevin Borjas is a dog. That has to be said. He beat Ronaldo Rodriguez, but Ronaldo Rodriguez is not really that good. I'm pretty sure he's cut from the UFC now. He also lost to Ode Osborne, even though it says win on the record. He did rob him, absolutely, on the sphere. And Kevin Borjas no, he didn't knock him out. He beat him by decision. No, did he knock him out? I don't remember. I think it was by decision. The point is he beat him, but a 10-5 record. So Kevin Borjas has a female MMA record right here. That's what we're dealing with. And then what else? He fought Emmanuel Rodriguez, I believe his name is, DC's boy, and he did get knocked out, but early on in that fight, he rocked him badly, and that brings me back to my point that Kevin Borjas is a dog. His record doesn't really show it, But this fight, he can absolutely knock out Andrew Lima. That's a thing that can happen. I'm gonna pick Andrew Lima though because he's been a lot more consistent. He's undefeated in the UFC. He's undefeated in general, 11-0. He's 4-0 in the UFC. And he's been looking nothing but good. His first fight in the UFC, he got bit by that other guy, got that tatted. That's kind of where you should know him from. If you remember that, it doesn't happen very often that somebody gets bit on their tricep in the middle of a fight, but it happened to him. And then since then, he beat that Brazilian guy. And that guy, what's his name? It's Felipe dos Santos is his name. And that's going to come up later in the breakdown of the main event. But he beat Felipe dos Santos. And Felipe dos Santos, he's really not that bad. He's not that good, but he's not that bad. And then he won another again twice. Like, he got a submission, got a decision. Andrew Lima's pretty fucking good. And I think that he'll be ringed soon as well. He's making a little run. And yeah, he should ragdoll Kevin Borjas. I think he's more of a grappler, but he's very well rounded. That's the thing, is like he's 11-0. They're not all finishes, which is why it's a little bit under the radar. But he's pretty fucking good. And he should win this fight. And we'll see how he looks based off this fight and see exactly how far this hype train goes. But this is definitely a winnable fight for him, and I'll pick him by decision. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a submission. We move on to Vinicius Oliveira versus Andre Fili. Now, Vinicius Oliveira, this is like, he should win, and I'm going to pick Vinicius Oliveira to win. But it is tricky because he's very, again, inconsistent. Izzy, though, he only lost his last fight. Before that, he looked pretty good. He has been gassing out in fights, but the fight before that where he fought Nurmagomedov, he fought with a broken rib, and he still beat him up. And Andre Fili, like, is he really that good? I know he's a fraud checker, but Vinicius Oliveira just got fraud checked. You can't fraud check him twice, you know? Like, that's it at this point. Like, it's over. And Andre Fili, like, Andre Fili, he basically beats guys who will never be ranked, and then he loses to guys who have any potential of being ranked. And Vinicius Oliveira was already ranked at 135, and lighter man skill comes into this. Not to go all Lucas Tracy on you, but he is moving up a weight class. His last fight, you can tell the weight cut was really hard on him, and I think in this fight we'll see him finally build into his frame, and he should style on Andre Fili on the feet, on the ground. I don't think we'll see many takedowns, but yeah, he should win. He should. I think he'll get a knockout in this fight. And if he doesn't, he'll win by decision. Andre Fili could pull this off, though. If Vinicius Oliveira, after round 1, round 2, starts gassing out, starts getting a little tired, I could definitely see Andre Fili making a comeback. But other than that guillotine, can Andre Fili really get a knockout? You know, like, can he knock out Vinicius Oliveira? I don't think so. And I think that Vinicius, even if he doesn't get a knockout, he'll do enough in the first 2 to at least get a decision. So yeah, I'm picking Vinicius Oliveira by knockout. And if not, he'll win by decision. We move on to Melsik Bagdasaryan versus Murtazali Magomedov. Ooh, Murtazali Magomedov. This guy, I'm pretty sure he's like 10-0. All finishes, I think. I kind of just skimmed past his record. I've never seen him fight before, but I'm going to pick him because Melsik Bagdasaryan, I know who you are. And he hasn't fought since the Gene Silva knockout, and that was a brutal knockout. It's been so long that he hasn't fought. Since Gene Silva knocked him out, he went on to fight Bryce Mitchell, Diego Lopez, and then Arnold Allen. Like, Gene Silva has fought 3 times since that. Gene Silva got fraud checked and made a comeback before Melsik Bagdasaryan came back. All right, so it's been a while, and he's coming off of a knockout. And I know he's supposed to be like a world championship kickboxer or whatever, but if you're getting knocked out, then, like, I don't think that applies to MMA. And this guy's looking like a monster, and I'm going to pick him ultimately because he's undefeated, and that's that. And he's a big favorite. So I'm picking Murtazali Magomedov. And his last name is Magomedov, but he's an entertaining Magomedov. So, you know, good for him. Congratulations. You're doing your brothers proud. We move on to Haidar Amil versus Christian Rodriguez. This is my dumb pick. My second. I have 2 dumb picks on this card, but this is the first of 2. I'm going to be picking Haidar Amil. And logically, you should be picking Christian Rodriguez because although Christian Rodriguez recently has been looking kind of bad too, in hindsight, like a Malik was Acosta loss, it's really not that bad of a look. But he also lost to Andre Fili by guillotine, right? So he kind of only beats people who are undefeated. And Haidar Amil, he took care of that. He got knocked out cold by Jose, what's his name? I don't remember. Jose Delgado is his name. And then after that, he lost to Jamal Emmers by decision. And that's a pretty bad loss. I'll be honest. Like, there was a time where Haidar Amil was 11-0, and it's like, ooh, is this guy going to be a prospect at the age of 36? And turns out no, because he got knocked out right away by Jose Delgado. And then since then, it's like, okay, is he going to learn? Like sometimes when people are undefeated, like Ilya Topuria, they think like they can't be knocked out. You know, like I'm untouchable. And so maybe he learned his lesson. But in the next fight, he gets out-grappled, gasses out heavy after round one. And just like a bad performance, you know? And that is what worries me, especially as somebody who's getting older. And for all those reasons, I'm picking Haider Amil. Why am I picking him, you might ask? Because I'm biased is why I'm picking him. I trained once with Haider Amil. He came to my gym and he beat me up. And now I'm biased, and now I have to pick him. But he should. I'll tell you why he'll win. He has really good boxing, and that's something that Christian Rodriguez, for the most part, I know like we think he out-grapples people, but actually what he is, he's an anti-grappler. He beat Chiwiwis, right? He beat the other guy with the curly hair who's been submitting people, who was undefeated at the time. And they're both grapplers. That's the thing about them. And this is at 145, right? So Christian Rodriguez, since coming up to 140, Austin Bashi was that guy's name that he beat as well. But since coming up to 145, I think he's 1-2. He beat Austin Bashi, and then he lost twice. And Haider Amil is like, he's not a big 145er either, but I think that Haider Amil can pull this off, especially with the boxing. This probably will just be a boxing match. Christian Rodriguez might try to go for takedowns after seeing Haider's last fight, but I think Haider should pull this off. Maybe by TKO, maybe by decision. I'll say decision right now because he doesn't have that heavy of hands. I disagree. I got hit by those hands. They're pretty hard, but I'm not that big of a guy either. So I'll say by decision. Maybe TKO, but I'm picking Haider Amil. It's not a smart pick. It really isn't, but I'm doing it anyway. So screw everyone. We move on to Ian Cutelaba versus Navajo Stirling. So this is my dumb pick of the card. I'm picking Ian Cutelaba. You might ask yourself, why am I doing this? And I might answer, I don't know why, but I have to do it. It's the kind of thing where sometimes you see a Ian Cutelaba and you just have to pick it. And Navajo Stirling's really good. He's 9-0, looks like Israel Adesanya. That kind of goes on to his record. He's white Israel Adesanya. That's a very important part of this breakdown. But the one thing is, like, he's undefeated, but he has, like, a finishing problem. Pause. He has a finishing problem. He has, like, 4 fights in the UFC. His last one, he got a TKO over Bruno Lopez. But before that, he has, like, 3 decisions, and they're all against people that he should be knocking out. Like, he was better enough than those people. The skill gap was big enough that you have to be finishing those fights. And you could say, okay, I guess now he learned, because in his last fight, he did get a knockout. But I think against Ian Cutelaba, you have to really, like, it's kind of tough to put him away. I know Magomed Ankalaev put him away. Maybe also Johnny Walker back in the day. But Ian Cutelaba is on a 4-fight win streak in 2026. That's a pretty crazy thing to say, but he's on a little streak right now. Yeah, like that's kind of insane. And what the thing is, what got him on that streak is actually like finally using fight IQ. He finally started fighting not like a fucking retard. And once he started doing that, he's pretty fucking good. Like he has good striking, he has good grappling. He has a great build for a 205. Like, he's not a small individual. He's got heavy hands. Like, he's just really good. He beat Ivo Aslan, I think that guy's name is, a Turkish guy. And that was, like, the way he beat him. Like, brawling in the pocket, but knowing that in the brawl, shooting for a takedown. Like, that's high IQ stuff. It's crazy that Ian Cutelaba has all of a sudden had good fight IQ. And now he's on a 4-fight win streak, coming off of a win against Umar Sy. And it's not like a crazy win, but it's pretty fucking good. Umar Sy, I think at some point he was ranked. He was undefeated recently. Like he was 11-0. Maybe he was 10-0 at a time. And then he had 1 loss. And then he came back and got a knockout. And so Ian Cutelaba beat Umar Sy off of Umar Sy coming off of a win. It's not like he beat him when Umar Sy was down. Umar Sy got a bounce back win by knockout. And then Ian Cutelaba beat him. And he beat him in round 1 by submission. And it looked like a fucking tight squeeze, that guillotine. And even before that, he was doing well on the feet against Umar Sy. And this was supposed to be the next Cyril Gane. Thank God he died. Thank God Ian Cutelaba beat him up. We can't handle 2 Cyril Ganes in the UFC. So I'm happy that happened. And so I'm going to pick it to beat Navajo Stirling. Also, like, the amount of fights, 9-0 versus 20-11. He has a lot more fights than Navajo Stirling, and a lot of them are in the UFC. And I know people think of Ian Cutelaba as an old guy because he's been fighting for so fucking long. But he's 32. And 32 at light heavyweight is really fucking young, you know? So I think, like, we're actually seeing prime Cutelaba right now. And instead of thinking of what did this guy used to look like back in the day when he was losing to everyone. Let's think about what he looks like now, like recently. In the past couple fights, he looks really good. And so for that reason, I'm going to pick him to beat Navajo Stirling by decision. I could see him getting a submission too, a little sneaky guillotine, a little double leg. But Navajo Stirling has good grappling. I think it's going to be competitive, but I think ultimately Ion Cutelaba is going to come ahead. And a big part of that is the fact that Navajo Stirling is not a good finisher. And if you're struggling to finish like people like Ivan Urslan, then I can't really pick you to finish Ion Cutelaba. You know, so it is what it is. I'm picking Ion Cutelaba. I'm gonna look really dumb in hindsight if it goes the other way, but I've already done that multiple times, so I'm okay with that. I've already accepted my fate, but I have to pick him. And if he loses, I don't know what to tell you guys, but I'm picking him. We move on to the main event of the evening: Manel Kape versus Kyoji Horiguchi. This is an amazing fight, and I don't know what it's doing in the Apex. I just watched their first fight, and I just don't understand how you don't have this be a main event on a fight night in Japan. Because their first fight was massive. The fight, I mean, it wasn't that crazy of a fight. And I'm not going to be basing my predictions off of that fight at all. There's one thing I will, actually, so I take that back right away. But yeah, what a fumble. What a fumble from the UFC. What are you doing putting this in the Apex? Like, I'm still going to enjoy it as a fight, but this needs to be in front of a Japanese crowd. They both fought in Rizin. That's a Japanese promotion. And it was like the big thing. It was for a belt, I think. Maybe not, actually. I take that back. But yeah, I don't know what they're doing in the Apex. This has like title contention all over it. Whoever wins this is going to fight for the belt after they have the rematch between Joshua Van and Pantoja. And let's talk about the prediction. So I'm going to be picking Manel Kape. And the reason I'm going to pick Manel Kape, there's a lot of reasons, actually. So hang tight. The first thing I'll say is I watched their original fight. And the only thing you could take away from that, because it was in like 2017, so 9 years ago. You can't really take the skill away or whatever. Like, Manel Kape was out-grappling him a little bit, and Kyoji was actually better on the feet in that fight. But it's a while ago. I'm assuming Manel Kape got better as a striker, and I'm assuming that Kyoji Horiguchi got better as a grappler. So what does this really come down to? What I was looking for in that fight was the speed. Because Kyoji Horiguchi is hands down, in my opinion, the fastest fighter in the UFC. Fastest, by far. Super quick. Maybe Demetrius Johnson back in the day, but at least right now, active flyweights, or I mean, obviously flyweights are going to be the fastest. It's Kyoji Horiguchi. And so I just wanted to see how fast is Manel Kape compared to Kyoji Horiguchi. So I watched the fight, and he was doing all right. Like, he was doing good on the feet. And that's all I really needed to know. Because, he is the favorite. Nice, good for you. And Manel Kape, the one thing that will separate the two of them is the knockout power, because this is how I can see the fight going. I can see Kyoji Horiguchi in round one. He's kind of pulling ahead in a way like a little bit like doing better just speed wise, better than Manel Kape. And Manel Kape hard to find his footing. But then round two, Manel Kape again, like still hard, but Manel Kape lands a big shot here, a big shot there. The kind of stuff that gets Kyoji Horiguchi going, whoa, you know? Little things like that. Because if we look back at Kyoji, his last two wins in the UFC, when he came back, he beat Tagiro Bekov, which is an amazing win. I mean, it's not like an amazing win, like resume-wise, but it's amazing the way he did it. He schooled him. He hit him with a head kick. As a 5'4" guy, Tagiro is at least like 5'9", 5'10", and Kyoji Horiguchi hit him with a head kick. That's fucking crazy. Ends up submitting him, beats him up. I mean, he's brought me so much joy. I love Kyoji. I'm a Gooch enjoyer. I'm a Gooch fan, you know? We ride with the Gooch. But I have to pick Manel Kape because the second fight, when he fought Amir Albazi, and he schooled him too, and he, of course, the speed advantage. But he did get hit with a weird shot. I remember that clearly. He got hit with a punch, and it wasn't like a knockdown, but he did kind of roll back and get up, and I just can't trust him. They're so equal in skill, Kyoji Horiguchi and Manel Kape. They're both, I mean, this is peak flyweight, you know? Whoever wins this is going to fight for the title next. And Manel Kape is at least close in skill. If he's not exactly as skilled as Kyoji Horiguchi, he's close enough, and he has a lot of knockout power. Like he has 14 knockouts on his record as a flyweight. That's insane. He has 22 wins and 14 by knockout. That's like basically, and he has a couple of submissions back in the day. He's been getting some arm bars. It's pretty funny watching footage of Manel Kape. He used to be like an armbar merchant. You know this? But not anymore. Now he knocks the fuck out of people. And let's talk about his record for a second. I'm just going to pull up his record real quick. Because Manel Kape, I won't say he's consistent. That's one thing you can't say about him. He's inconsistent. But when he shows up, he fucking shows up, and he looks like a world beater. So he comes into the UFC, and his first fight was against Alexander Pantoja, which, I mean, they have to stop giving the Ryzen champs as their debut fight, Alex Pantoja. But he did so much better than Kaya Sakura in the debut. It was like a 29-28 decision, which if Manel Kape was the homeboy, that could have gone to him. I'm not saying it should have gone to him. I do think that Alexander Pantoja won that fight, but it was a very close, competitive fight. And what we see, and even the fight after that, where again he lost to Teos Nicolau, that one was much clearer, I'd say, for Manel Kape, where that was actually kind of a robbery. And he has a couple of these on his record that are kind of robberies. Against Kaya Sakura, everybody knows he went 1-1 with Kaya Sakura. But the first fight, that was a robbery. I rewatched that. They gave Kaya Sakura round 2, and that's a round where Manel Kape dropped him badly, and then Kaya Sakura got on top and just like sat there for a little bit and landed a couple punches, and they gave him the fight. And then in the second fight, Manel Kape knocks him the fuck out. And I know Kyoichi Horiguchi also knocked out Kaya Sakura, but in their first fight, Kaya Sakura knocked out Kyoichi Horiguchi. And that's my point. That's my point, is that when you're equal in skill, Kyoichi's not a big guy, and Manel Kape is a big guy. And he's on steroids. That has to be said too. We saw him in his last fight. The guy put a bra on, man. Those are breasts, you know? So he's on steroids, and that might also explain why he has like 11 canceled bouts in his fight, in his UFC run, which is an insane amount. Some of them are injuries, some of them are missing weight. He's gigantic. He's almost as wide as he is tall. And let's just read his record real quick. So comes in, loses to Pantoja by decision, loses to Teos Nicolau, but then he beats Ode Osborne by flying knee. Then he beats this Dagestani guy by knockout as well. And then he has a decision win, beats Felipe dos Santos. And let's talk about that, because people bring that up as if that's like a bad win. But first of all, he did 30-27 in. Before we talk about close fights, let's just remember he did win every single round, and pretty clearly. The only thing is, like, I guess it shocked people because how much shit Manel Kape talks, and he talks a lot of shit. And so they're like, okay, he's supposed to fight Kai Kara France, and then they bring this guy in for like his UFC debut. And they're like, okay, Manel Kape will knock him out easily. And he did it. It ended up being, I guess, it was a fight. That's what shocked people. But it has to be said, there are a lot of times where these fights happen, where they bring somebody who sucks, at least on paper, on short notice, and everyone assumes that they're going to lose. And they end up making it somewhat competitive. And I think that no matter how bad your opponent is, when it's on short notice and you don't have time to like properly game plan for it, it's going to be weirdly competitive. We've seen this a lot of times recently. Like this kind of thing happens. So we can't really be shocked by it. And Felipe dos Santos, he's not like amazing. I think people kind of assumed that he was going to be like he was going to go on a little run after that, because that was his debut against Manel Kape. Imagine what he could do on a full cap. Turns out not much. He lost. He hit the fight after that. He kind of won a robbery decision. After that, he lost. But then he fought what's his name? Loder Kavanaugh, and went to like a close decision with him. And we just saw what Loder Kavanaugh did. So it's like, is that really that bad of a loss to Loder Kavanaugh? And Manel Kape beat him up, you know? And it was a win. Regardless, it was a win. And then after that, he had that weird fight with Muhammad Mokaev. But then after that, he looked pretty unbeatable. So we'll talk about the last part of it. But before that, let's just talk about Muhammad Mokaev. That was a very close fight. And Muhammad Mokaev absolutely did cheat. I don't think that Manel Kape would have gotten that knee bar or whatever. But regardless, Muhammad Mokaev did cheat in that fight. And Muhammad Mokaev now is like on the regional scene just terrorizing people. Just absolutely obliterating people. So it's not like he sucks. And my last point about that was, so Manel Kape, there's two kinds of Manel Kapes, and you never know which one's going to show up. There's a Manel Kape that comes in very hesitant, and that's the one that either loses or makes it very close decisions. And then there's a Manel Kape that it usually takes him about a round to get in, and once he's in it, he looks unbeatable. He looks like a flyweight Conor McGregor, hands behind his back, moving around, talking shit, bringing them on. And I just love this guy. Guys, there was a time in flyweight. Let me just bring you back to like 2 years ago at flyweight when we had nothing. All we had was Alexander Pantoja going for like his 4th title defense, beating Royval for the 2nd time by holding him down, and we had nothing. All we had was Manel Kape talking shit to Kai Kara France, and it was awesome. And that's what we needed, a guy knocking people out. It's like he was supposed to be the flyweight superstar. And then he keeps on pulling out of fights, missing weight, getting injured, and I feel like we never got to really see the promise of Manel Kape. And now I feel like is finally when we're seeing it. He's on a 4-fight win streak, or maybe 3-fight win streak. But and all of them by knockout, and he's kind of really finding his place. He knocked out Royval in his last fight in round 1. Joshua Van went to a 29-28 decision with Royval that was supposed to be like a star-making performance, where if he doesn't knock down Royval in the last 30 seconds, that fight could easily go the other way. So I'm not going to say he got lucky, but that was a close competitive fight. Manel Kape sparks him out around like it's nothing. And that's like probably a stylistically like a nightmare matchup for Manel Kape. Somebody much taller than him, good at footwork. Manel Kape just puts him away. And so I think I broke this fight down enough. And because of everything I said, I think Manel Kape will put Kyoichi Horiguchi away. I think it's going to be very competitive until it's not. Until, like, Kyoichi Horiguchi has kind of pillow hands. He has a couple knockouts, but most times it's like beating the fuck out of people and then knocking them out. He doesn't have like one punch knockout power. And Manel Kape does. And so it's going to be competitive until Kyoichi Horiguchi doesn't move his head when he's supposed to, and he's out. And that's it. And there's 5 rounds. And for 5 rounds, even if Manel Kape looks bad for 2 rounds, maybe 3, he's going to get that knockout in round 3 or 4. And it's going to be sad because I really like Horiguchi. He has a great personality, but I'm also going to be happy because Manel Kape's around. And I love Manel Kape. And he's talked a lot of shit with Joshua Van in his last fight. Joshua Van, I got to steal your diapers alive. Whatever the fuck that's supposed to mean. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to this fight. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be a great fight. And all in all, this is a pretty good card. This is the kind of card you need after a crazy night like the UFC White House, where I'm still kind of recovering from that. I still can't believe that Ilia Topuria lost. I'm still in denial about that. So this is like a great card to just, let's all cool down. Let's just watch 2 flyweights go to death in the Apex. And so thank you everybody for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, whatever you feel like doing, and come back for the fight reaction after this fight takes place. See ya.